Hey, Google, stop. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Sullivan Project podcast. I'm your host, Harold Sullivan. Hey, Google, set your volume to 50%. Make sure we got the camera good there. Got a little bit new lighting here. Hopefully it's better. I'm not sure. In case y'all haven't tuned in before, I'm blind. I lost my sight 3.5 years ago or so. It'll be 4 years June. And I was born with an autoimmune disease. I haven't been able to walk since I was real young. But that's what this podcast is about. Everyone has a story, and you can't judge a book by its cover. And you never know. And how does someone make it from A to B? And in that moment, they don't think they can. But then, like 50 years later, it's like, wow, really? But yeah, if y'all haven't tuned in before, check out previous episodes. You can reach us on YouTube and TikTok under Harold Sullivan 78. And then Facebook is Harold Sullivan period 35. And then you can email hs19782015 at outlook.com. And you can call 724-513-1472 if you want to be on the show. Guest, are you going to be audio or video? Or if you just want to, get something out or have me say something over the air for you, you only got this 1 second to get out something. And even if you can't find that person that you need to say it to, you still get it out. Try. Because I've done that on my spiritual path I've been on since I lost my sight. I'm in the audio Bible the 20th time now. And didn't read it before, maybe a page, and that was it. The first page I tried years ago, I was like, you know what, maybe a page a day would be something. And little did I know, right? But we're going to have Chris on later. We're going to talk about horror holiday movies, something we haven't done really. And there's lots of them when you sit and think about it. And so I'm going to talk about a few of those here right now. And then him and I are going to talk about some more. And I got a light from the side instead of above, which I used to have to dim down with the Google. I got too many things hooked up with these. It makes it easier for me, but then when the Wi-Fi doesn't work or these things have to be reset a lot, these voice commanded things, they don't work right still, but they're released, I don't get that. And then the one thing I was using to call out called the portal, they shut off like 95% of the features over the last couple of years, and it was brand new. So now it's completely useless to me, being blind and disabled. But the whole thing of it was supposed to be hands-free, right? But I don't know. That's how it is. But that song, Man on a Mission, is I've created, and we have other ones on there too. I've been doing with AI. I've been writing songs, channeling I call it, because when you're doing hundreds of them, one time I wrote 20 songs in a weekend a few years ago, and I didn't know what to do with them. My pain, my hip is hurting. We got some warmer weather though. It's like 30-something degrees. Finally, we're above 20-something when I record this in end of February. But I didn't know what to do with all these songs. I was just kind of saving them in my computer's talking. It's glitchy. See, these things ain't right. I use the Google and the Ziggies, which is the A word, to keep the notes and write songs one line at a time. Which one time I had like 300 notes in there, which was a bunch of songs all at once. And then I got to have someone help me type them out. But I was getting rid of them, and then a pastor at the church said, you know what, just keep the stuff that's coming to you. One day you'll find something. So I got all the stuff, and if anybody wants to reach out and help, please let me know. No money involved. I'm making essential oils too. Like I just said, no money involved. Everything's free. I got essential oils. The oils I'll send out, I've been making, and all kinds of other stuff. We got swag for the podcast too that I bought, and I had custom made like on Amazon. Pens, got a couple of hats, some bumper stickers, If anybody wants any, let me know. I'll send them to you. I might even pay to ship it if it's only a couple bucks. I don't care. I just want to help people. I want to raise the elevation of the planet, the frequency, and love unconditionally. So yeah, let's talk about some of these movies and a couple other things here we got. So Krampus is one. It's Krampus has been around a long time. It's like the evil twin of Santa Claus, basically. But they finally had a movie a few years ago. It had that one guy who's in the Will Ferrell movies, the older guy with the dark hair. I don't remember. Not John C. Riley, a different guy. But anyway, he's in there. It's about a family, and then this monster attacks them. But check it out. It's Krampus. Uh, I just remember there was one. I don't know if it's called Santa's Sleigh or something like that. Bill Goldberg, the wrestler, was in where he played the Santa Claus killing people like a slasher. It was. I don't really remember the exact details, but years ago. But just look up Bill Goldberg Santa Claus horror. He was doing the moves to them too, like the people in the movie, like way before The Rock and all of them were doing these things. Goldberg and Sting were in movies. You know. What else here? I just remembered. What do we have? Mother's Day, which I barely remember. There might even have been a Father's Day. I'm mentioning a few now that are not well known, and then Chris and I later will talk about the bigger ones. Of course, you got Halloween and Friday the 13th. I don't have to mention the plot of those, Halloween and Friday the 13th. Everybody knows those. Hey, Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's what you told me. First, Critters 2 inches. Second, Goldberg Krampus Mother's Day, Halloween Friday the 13th. Third, Scream 7 investigation.
Hey, Google, stop. And then we have Critters 2. The second one was like an Easter. It was on Easter. Had an Easter bunny. And of course, the little critters going around. It was pretty sick. The first one wasn't on a holiday. I don't think any of them were, but the second. Uh, okay, and then we got Scream 7. There's a trailer out, or not a trailer, but there's news out uh, that Matthew Lillard is coming back somehow. I don't know how, because he's kind of old to be doing a flashback. But then I'm thinking, did they say he ever really died? It's been a long time since, because they vaguely mentioned him after the first one. They made it all like Billy Loomis was, or they made it like it was all him, Billy Loomis. But I'm wondering, did he ever really die? Did he even kill anybody? Did we ever see, like, did he kill any, or was he just the accomplice? And maybe Billy Loomis did all, like, I don't know. But it'll be neat to see. Hopefully it's just not something stupid, or just a voice. Maybe it's just a voiceover or something. I, I, I vaguely remember the last Scream 5 and 6. Because I listened to them without sight, and they were okay, but they got worse and worse, and like all of them, right? Uh, hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's what you told me. First, Critters 2 inches. Second, Goldberg Krampus Mother's Day, Halloween Friday the 13th. Third, Scream 7 investigation, Alien the New Edition story, Psychotherapy.
Okay, Psychotherapy is a movie coming out with shoot, what's that guy's name? Steve Buscemi, I guess. I don't know if he's a killer or a therapist or what, but that's all I know. I just heard about that. The New Edition story is a documentary it's been on for a few years. It's free. It might be on Netflix or Tubi, one of them. But it's a few different 4 or 5 episodes, maybe an hour long each, or half hour, 45 minutes, something like that. But it's about the band New Edition and Bobby Brown and all that. Really good though. If you like, and I'm not sure if they were lip syncing because back then I didn't really pay attention, or if it was really them singing, like close to the actor singing close. But it's called the New Edition story. And then Investigation Alien, I finished those 6 episodes. I think that's on Netflix, but it's one of these free things. And this guy, Rap or Nap, I don't know, he used to be a reporter. He's going around trying to collect evidence to counter Congress from the report about aliens. So each episode is about a different thing. The one is about uh, they did one about the Phoenix Lights, which was very interesting, and that was actually like a year before Independence Day came out with that giant ship hovering over. Coincidence? You know, I don't believe in coincidences. Uh, and they did one about this metal that they found that they can't really say how it got made, and the guy saying he saw it fall out of a ship, but it was like hot, and whenever he got this big piece of metal, and he let them detect it, and there's oh my gosh, there's so many different ones, uh, or not so many different ones, but I don't want to give away the six. Each episode is about a different aspect. One might be about abductions, one's about this and that. And then I finished a book called Out There, like a scientific guide to aliens and future stuff and all that. It's got a long name. It's not very long, about 6 hours, and it's available in audio and regular text, printed format. It's really good though because it talks about everything from aliens, time travel, our planet dying, the future, how we're going to evolve. And I've heard this a couple of different things. I've heard this a couple of different ways recently. First, I heard on a podcast that they said that they took, and if they evolved us into the future, what we look like, we would end up looking like aliens. Okay. And then I heard that, I think in this book, or vice versa, that if the dinosaurs had not died and they took the biggest brain, so sorry for the sirens, the biggest brain of the biggest brain dinosaur, which I think was that one like in Jurassic Park that was knocking things over its head, or maybe not, I don't know. Uh, and they evolved that into the future, it would look like the gray aliens. Like, so this is weird. And I heard that twice, just like in a week. Listening to an audiobook and a podcast, two different things, but two different, uh, you know, the same results, saying that they're going to end up it would end up looking like aliens, you know, to us or the dinosaurs, because of our heads and the way our eyes have been. Uh, Sockets and stuff have been growing. They think our foreheads getting taller, longer, will come out, slope. And there actually were cultures that used to tie their kids and have their people like mold their heads that way back in the day. Check that out. So they looked like alien heads. They had skulls that way, but they had to be wrapped and molded that way for it to grow that way. And then do that naturally. Just like there's a tree in a crooked forest that all the trees are growing exactly the same crooked, and they don't know why because nature don't do that. So, hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's what you told me. First, critters 2 inches.
Hey Google, delete
Second,
the first one.
done. It's forgotten.
Hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's what you told me. First, Goldberg Krampus Mother's Day, Halloween, Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Second, Scream 7 Investigation, Alien the New Edition Story, Psychotherapy. Third, Alien Buried Disc Papers, Geordie Stone's Out There Scientific Guide.
Okay, and then here's another thing. Geordie Stones, I think they're called, or Gordy Stones, something. But this is a myth, and they disappeared a long time ago. But they were found in a cave, and they were basically like vinyl records. They were small things with holes in the center, round, and they had microscopic etchings. I don't know how did they do that back in the day on there. But when they were deciphered, they just explained so much about history and where we came from, and then they were stolen or they disappeared. So it was almost like there was records they existed, but this was like thousands and thousands of years ago. And then there's a story about, and I think this is where Cowboys and Aliens, the movie, and it was a comic before that or a graphic novel, but this is where I think the story came from. Supposedly, like in the 1800s, an alien crashed.
Just finished loading.
Yeah, there's the computer again. An alien crashed in like Texas or Mexico or wherever, and they buried the body in the cemetery, and there's a little uh, grave there, but years later the headstone is missing, and only certain people know where it is. But they won't let them dig it up or analyze the body that's there, or if there even is one, they don't know. They won't let them check now. And then there's one other thing. This is fascinating. Go check this out online. If I had sight, I would want to know. I'm curious. Uh, in the famous picture of the Roswell in the newspaper, okay, where they had them take the picture with the fake weather balloon, saying that that's what crashed. The officer, his boss, Marcel's boss, I forget his name, is holding a paper, and they're able to zoom in right now with the technology. See, they didn't think about this back then. They said, we'll just cover it up, man, throw the balloon down there and make this guy look like an idiot when he knows what he's doing. This guy knows it wasn't a weather balloon. That's why he reported it, saying it's a flying saucer, and then they made him retract it. But anyway, you can read a lot of the words on the paper, and one says recovered flying disc, and one says something like bodies. Okay, well, why if this thing wasn't real, then why do they have the paper? Why is he holding it? It's in his pocket or whatever. I think he's holding it. But why? Okay, if they're trying to say it was fake, he wouldn't have that there. First of all, he wouldn't know people could zoom in on that million, not a million, but 70, 80 years later. And second of all, why wouldn't he have it out where people could see that? So there you go. There's your proof right there. Something crashed in Roswell in 1947. Something that was a flying disc and it had bodies in it. Now, whether it came from another country or whatever, uh, I don't think the word aliens was in the memo. It might have been. Go look it up. Go look at the picture. So, yeah, I'm just fascinated about all this stuff because we're not alone. And if we are, and our species, the Earth is going to die because it's going to be fried by the sun one day, no matter what. If we can't get off of here, and we can't find a way to get our DNA or prolong or expand our species, then we're done, and that's sad. Okay, no matter what I go through, that saddens me. Okay, because it's a whole humanity. I'm just one, right? But all is one as far as the collective. So, hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's what you told me. First, Goldberg Krampus Mother's Day, Halloween, Friday the 13th. Second, Scream 7 investigation, Alien the New Edition story, psychotherapy. Third, Alien buried disc papers, Geordie Stone's out there scientific guide.
Okay, well I think that's pretty much about that. But then we're gonna get into Chris here and talk to him about some stuff. I've known him since we were both in elementary school, and then we lost touch when I moved, and then when I lost my sight, God, just I remembered his old landline number, and his mom still had it. Yeah, and I called, left a message, and she gave him the number. He called me back like the next day. And this is a couple of years ago. We've been talking since. He's been on the podcast regularly. Oh man, he loves the choice, and so does the hate, y'all. What's up, everyone? We got Chris here. What's up, Chris?
What's up?
Nothing. You just was telling me Mike Lang died.
Yeah. He died Wednesday night.
Jesus.
I'm not sure how old he was. He was in his 70s,
Mike Lang, he was the announcer for the Penguins for like, I don't know.
46 years.
Okay, and then he did a little bit before that because I caught an old games on, and it was weird hearing him call for like Calgary or somebody like in the early 80s, man, right before the Penguins. So, yeah, 50 something altogether. He was an announcer. And I mean, Jesus, he's the one that he had all the, scratch my back with a hacksaw. Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has just left the building.
So hockey night in Pittsburgh.
It's a hockey night in Pittsburgh. Is how he opened every game, right, for thousands of games, whatever. And what else? Call Arnold Slick from Turtle Creek. I mean,
how much fried chicken can you eat?
Yeah, if you're not from around here, how much fried chicken can you eat? And he should get 5 to 10 for that one. If you're not from around here, though, some of these kind of don't make sense. But I mean, he's the best one of the best hockey announcers, if not the best. So God bless Mike Lang. We got to add him to the angel list, because any celebrities and stuff and whatnot, certainly, I can't name everybody because I don't know them all, but I try to mention on here if someone's passed away. You know what I mean? Because as long as you don't forget, they'll still exist, right? That's the way I believe it. And so I wanted to ask you actually about. Okay, I got that DVD burner. I told you I was going to get one, an external DVD for the computer. Most people don't use DVDs and CDs anymore, But I'm trying to find out a way that I can easily share my music with people. What if they don't have a computer or a phone, a cell phone, with internet? Like you don't use the internet, right? You have a cell phone, but you don't use email and all that.
No, I
But
don't use any of that.
you do have a DVD player still,
Yeah,
and you still use that, right? It works good,
yeah.
and you can play CDs in that as well, right? Music CDs.
I think so. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, because they're backwards compatible. You can always play, but you can't play DVD on a CD, you know, player. But you can play CD player on a DVD. Because I'm trying to figure out the best way to send one or the other. I'm gonna get it figured out, make sure I can do it, and then send you some music so you could actually be able to check it out and some podcasts and celebrity cameos. If y'all want to check those out on our uh, social media, Harold Sullivan 78 TikTok, Harold Sullivan 78 YouTube, and Harold Sullivan period 35 on Facebook. Uh, yeah, because I want to be able to do that, so I'll figure it. I'll figure it out. Yeah, literally, it took my sister 30 minutes just to plug in the daggone DVD player the other day, and it's not that hard. It's just two plugs that came with it, right? But she's arguing with me and all this stuff, and this is. I'm worried because her and my brother-in-law are both just losing their minds, literally. And it sounds funny when someone says that, but when you're dealing with the partner people, and you don't really know what to do because they get upset when you're trying to say, "Hey, I care about you," and I'm worried, they get upset that you're coming at them right a certain way, and then they don't. Maybe they don't even want to realize it, right? But I want somebody to tell me. I told them too. If I'm slipping, tell me, please. You know what I mean? You too. If I'm slipping, man, if I'm losing my mind and I start forgetting, please tell me. Because I want to know. I don't want to just be hurting. I don't want to be making other people suffer or messing up because I'm losing my mind. I want to get help. Seriously. Life is too short. But I think I'm doing okay still. You know what I mean? For what I've had to go through. In life, 46, being blind the last some. I just started the audio Bible my 20th time now in the last 3.5 years, man. Oh man,
You
on
did.
that. Yep, 20 times now I'm going through it. 87 hours each time. So, hey, that's how you do it, right? Shoot. Some people never went through the Bible once. So, but yeah, I'm going to work on that. I'm trying to do DVD. That way you can listen to. It'll be a DVD, but you'll be able to just play the video and it'll have the audio on it, you know what I mean, with a picture. But either way, I'm going to try to make the music for you. Because there's no other way to really do that. You know, and then I can have sample discs to hand out to people, CDs. Hey, here's some music that I'm making. You know what I mean? So that's what I wanted to do. I'll tell you about that. And then, let me, before we, so, Georgia, right, that's your mom, and I did a little thing for you. I didn't get to really tell you. Let me tell you what I can remember, though, that psychic reading. Do you remember what her birthday numbers were? It was 57, right? 1957.
51.
Or 51. I remember a bunch of ones in it. And what was the other ones? Do you remember? Wasn't it like 11, 10, 51 or something? There was a bunch of ones in it. I don't remember. You don't remember, do you? Do you remember the first four?
What's that?
The first four.
Of what?
Her numbers. There was ones in it, right? It was
November 10th to 51.
November 11, 10, 51?
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, all them ones. Yeah, because I was telling you those are angel numbers, ones. And then so she has all them 11s, right? 11, 11. And then she's a Scorpio, right? I don't know if you ever heard of that. Or she mentioned that. She probably knows because people usually find that out when they're young. And they at least know that. And their gemstone is topaz, right? So if she has jewelry, topaz is her. And the colors are blue. I mean, they have different colors, topaz, but I picked blue because usually you could get a blue one and they're pretty. So I don't know if she likes the color blue. Does she wear blue? Does she like blue a lot? Your mom?
I don't know.
Yeah. Not really in particular.
Not really.
And that's spiritual color. Blue is like, like enlightenment and calmness and spirituality is the color blue. They associated with all that. And then she's a water sign too. That's her, because she's Scorpio, which is water is blue, right? And that means she's good at like communicating and talking to people and stuff. And then one other thing was She's a good, like a detective. She's good at figuring out stuff, right? She's very smart, intelligent. I think that goes with the Scorpio. But yeah, you can't put nothing past her, right? Your mom. You didn't get away with nothing probably when you were younger. Because
Yeah.
she's real smart, right? She's always on the ball. But that's what it says about her. If y'all want to check that out, it's psychic reading for Georgia. So, and then one more thing before we get into, you said you had some questions, right? A couple
Yeah.
questions, and I got a cool little topic here. Do you want to hear the chorus to this one song I'm writing? The lyrics, a couple lines here. This is what they are right now, though. It's called Chase Graves. It's like a song about monsters. You want to hear it real quick? The chorus? I'll just read.
Yeah.
I'll just read you the chorus because I'm still working on it, but I think the chorus is pretty much is what it's going to be, though. One day I gained the nickname of Chase Graves. Other choices were Sam Hell and Pete Sake. One night in the bar made me change my ways. Got a vampire date. I was a cheapskate. Okay, that's the chorus. And then it's twice, like it'd be repeated. So, got a vampire date. I was a cheapskate. One night in the bar made me change my ways. So it's kind of like as a monster hunter guy, but his name is Chase Graves. I thought that was a cool name, right? Chase Graves. I just put a couple names together, and plus Graves is just kind of eerie if your name is Graves, right? Your last name. Never met anybody with the name Graves. But so you had some questions, and I got one, and I got a good topic here. What is your questions? Is it a specific thing or just?
Friday the 13th, 1980.
Oh, okay.
What's Alice's last name in the movie?
Alice.
Yeah.
Oh God. You know what? I know it, but I'm just that damn.
Hardy.
Oh shit. You didn't give me a second to think, but I probably wouldn't get it. Hardy?
Yeah.
H-A-R.
Hardy.
Okay. I probably would have thought of it in a second, but that's a little. I actually met her at a convention once. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you did. It sent me the picture.
Adrienne King. Yeah, she didn't even go. She didn't go to conventions for years because she had a stalker, and she almost.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna question you about too. You already got that one.
Yeah, she almost was. I guess the dude showed up, man, at her house with freaking a shotgun in her car, in the trunk of the car.
Yeah, they caught him, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, but she didn't go to conventions or do movies for years.
I don't blame her. Yeah.
Same with Danielle Harris, the little girl who was in Halloween 4 and 5 and was growing up. Beautiful. Still beautiful all the time, all the way as an adult, all the way up. Still looked very young, though. And
She still looks good.
And still now, and she was playing in Rob Zombie's Halloween. She was playing a teenager in the 30s.
She's married now, isn't she?
I don't know, but I don't think she was when I met her like 15 years ago. I'm going to try to get her on the podcast, though. She is on Cameo, and I was just waiting, and hopefully she doesn't disappear, But I'm sure she'll remember me. But she actually came around and gave me a hug. She had like a blue shawl on. Remember I sent you the picture? She knelt down to my wheelchair. In case y'all haven't tuned in before, I'm disabled, but I lost my sight just a couple years ago. But she don't touch people or any of that stuff either, But she actually came around and gave me a little hug and took a picture with me. But that was the first convention she had done. Because she disappeared from Hollywood because somebody was after her. But I didn't get the whole story. I didn't want to be prying because she was like 11.
Yeah.
She was like 11, 12 years old when that happened. All that stuff. That's sick. Because it was probably had to be an older guy who was out trying to get her, and so she had to leave out of movies. And I don't remember her being in anything between Halloween 5, right, and Rob Zombie. Was she ever in another movie? Do you know? I mean, now she has been since she's becoming a scream queen. I mean, she was in the one Hatchet movie and a bunch of other movies. One with Bill Moseley.
Yeah.
But
I remember him.
yeah, but she was never in any other movies right after she was a child because she quit Hollywood. Jesus, that's a shame. Mark Patton, same thing I was telling you about. Because he was gay, he got kind of blackballed from Hollywood. He just left.
Mark Patton was?
Yeah.
No shit, I didn't know that.
Remember I was telling you about the documentary I listened to, but I think you were confused about who I was saying it was about. from Freddy's Revenge. Remember I was telling you there was a documentary called Scream Queens, or yeah, my about the Mark Patton, how he left Hollywood for 30 years because he he didn't want to be outed for being gay.
I did not know that.
Yeah, in that movie, and they went and found him to make these documentaries. Whenever they did Never Sleep Again, that's the first time he ever spoke. Or actually, they didn't even speak on that because they couldn't find him. That's why he wasn't on there. They said they tried, but he was in Mexico or somewhere because he was made like he was gay and in real life. You know what I mean? And so he in Hollywood you can't be gay in the '80s. So he left, went to Hollywood, never did nothing, and it's a shame because he was a Shakespeare. He was a Broadway actor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do? Remember that scene where he was dancing around like Tom Cruise in his underwear? Yeah, he did that scene like Tom Cruise in his underwear in Freddy's Revenge. And he didn't know that that became a popular scene, and fans thought he was sexy, male and female. It didn't matter. Nobody was judging him, but he thought that they were because that's how it was back in the day. But yeah, there's a whole documentary on TV somewhere called Scream Queens, My Nightmare on Elm Street, and it's about Mark Patton. Uh, and that dude, I mean, he could have been the next freaking good actor. It wasn't nothing wrong with him. Remember he screamed like a girl in the one scene, and then there's a feud between him and the writer actually, because the writer wrote that in there, but he's like, I didn't write "Scream Like a Girl," and Mark Patton was trying to say that he wrote it a certain way to make him look gay, and it was just this thing that went on between him and the writer, which was silly. And then, but in the DVD, they made up and finally were like, okay, that was 40 some years ago. You know, he's like, I just want an apology. That's all, Mark Patton. And I understand, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My God.
I had no idea he was gay.
Yeah, how you wouldn't, well, you wouldn't know, but, and I didn't know at the time that that movie was written like that, but there was weird things in that movie that was a little, you know, it could be uncomfortable for certain people, like when they're daggone, whenever, when the school teacher was getting beat naked or getting whipped naked in the shower. I mean, that's a little, you know, just like and Jason Goes to Hell when Jason straps the guy to the bed and he's shaving him. What the hell?
Yeah.
What is that? But you know, they said that Adam Marcus wrote that. He admitted that he did that on purpose because he was trying to make a homoerotic scene. He wanted to make the fans mad. I mean, come on, guy. Just like he took Jason out of the movie most of the time to make the fans mad, and only had him in there a couple of scenes. That was his whole. Oh, Jesus! It goes on and on. And do you have more questions about? Is it just those two about Friday the 13th?
Just those two for now.
Okay, I got a good topic here, real quick. Holiday horror movies. We haven't brought that up before. We've mentioned a couple, right? But holiday, like just horror movies that are on holidays or have to do with holidays. We're a little late for that too, but hey, but you know what? There's a holiday every month, right? A couple. So, would you consider? I would consider Gremlins, right? Christmas,
Yeah.
a holiday horror, right?
Yeah, right.
Not like Sudden Death, where I was listening to.
Oh, it all takes place on Christmas, yeah.
Yeah, but recently I was listening to somebody on a podcast say that Sudden Death was a horror movie. Okay, you know the Van Damme action movie. That's not a daggone horror movie. Well, it's an action movie. I think I told you that, just like they said They Live was. That They Live was more of an action sci-fi, not a horror. It could even be.
They Live is sci-fi. It's not really horror.
It could be action too. You know?
Oh yeah. That.
And I'd say maybe even comedy, right? Because there's some one-liners in there. It's about as funny as, well, not as funny as Evil Dead because there's more slapstick, but it's funny. So, okay. So yeah, let's see the other ones here. The Christmas ones, they're actually doing a new Silent Night, Deadly Night. That's why.
That was around Christmas.
That's
a lot
why.
of people hated that movie.
Well, they're remaking it now. That's why I'm bringing these up, because they were actually about to bring another one. I think they already remade that one once. So this will.
They did remake it once.
So
They're remaking it again.
Yeah, this will be another one.
Oh God.
So we got Silent Night, Deadly Night, right? We got Black Christmas, which is probably one of the better ones, right?
Black Christmas is okay. I have that one.
That's just
Yeah.
about a killer in the house, right? A boy or something. What's
Yeah.
and is he calling him up on the phone or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, like sorry, wrong number. I actually did that play in high school. It was about somebody. The lady picked up the phone and overheard her husband or somebody trying to plan a murder on her. That's creepy. And that story was written a long time ago. But I played the Western Union guy, right? He's just a guy that delivers a package. But since I couldn't go up on stage because of the wheelchair, they had me sit off on the side of the stage and sing my lines like 20 feet away from the people. It's like, good God. But at least my mom came to see me and she was in the crowd. There was only like 20 seats in there, enough for some parents, in the little drama room, because I took drama in high school, which was cool because I never knew I'd like actually be doing fan films or doing podcasts or writing or any of that, you know what I mean? But, so Black Christmas, what else did we have here? New Year's Evil, right? Is another one? Is there another Christmas or another New Year's?
I don't know. I think so.
Uh, Black Christmas,
There's a couple of Black Christmases.
New Year's Evil. Yeah, there was a remake of that as well. We got April
They
Fools.
make everything. That's how they get
Right.
their money, huh?
April Fool's Day. Now I saw the remake. I don't think I saw the original. The dude from Supernatural was actually in the remake, and that was just like there was a party, right? Somebody died, but at the end it turned out being a joke, right? That was the plot of April Fool's Day, the remake anyway. I don't know about the original, but that was the plot. Did you see the original? Does that sound familiar?
Somewhat.
It's like a party, right? And somebody falls over a thing and dies, like a balcony, right? And everybody's like, ugh. But then later on they find out that person's not dead, but all this other stuff is happening. It's I don't know. And then what else do you have? Is there like a happy birthday to me or something? I believe that one. And recently they came out with Happy Death Day, right?
Yeah, that one kind of stunk.
My God. And there's Thanksgiving, which Eli Roth, I still have not checked that out recently. It's a couple of years old. And there was Thanksgiving, which I told you about. It was about a turkey.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's called it's a turkey, a pet turkey that goes around killing people. But it's a puppet, right? And you can see, it's obviously a cheesy, low budget puppet, but real people. And then they did a sequel, but it was part 3. And it's called Thanksgiving 3, the only movie to skip its sequel or something like that. It's ridiculous, literally. And I haven't checked out either one. But hey, check them out. Let me know. Let us know. Email hs19782015 at outlook.com or call 724-513-1472. And then what other ones do we got here? We did April. We got My Bloody Valentine. Both of them were really good. I actually saw the remake first, which I didn't see.
I got the first and the remake.
It wasn't. Yeah. I didn't see it in 3D, but it was in 3D, right? The remake was. And Todd Farmer, who wrote Jason X, Friday the 13th Part 10, wrote the remake of My Bloody Valentine, and he actually was in it. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think I do.
Remember that scene?
Vaguely.
He was the bald-headed truck driver.
Yeah.
With the prostitute, calling her all kinds of names and beating her up. And he was the guy, he was in that virtual reality set where with Azrael or whatever the dude's name, when they're shooting at monsters, and Jason comes up with a machete and chops them. He's like, what's he say? Turn it off or whatever. He's trying to turn it off, Jason, but Jason's real. That movie was okay. I mean, come on, it was okay. It was a way out there, but there was some funny stuff and some original stuff in Jason X. It sounds funny, Jason in space. You know what I mean? But remember the part where the girl's like, this sucks on so many levels, and she's being sucked through the grate or the space thing because the door's open, and there's nothing left over but like a pile of skin and mess. Remember that? It's so gross, but it's just funny because like it's just her arms and legs, like she's just being sucked through the thing, and then she's like, this sucks on so many levels. She says that when she's dying, right? And she's has to get another thing in. She has to say something, right? You remember in that one movie, wasn't that guy like, he's killing me or I'm dying? Wasn't that part 5 where the guy was announcing he was dying? I think it was the guy with the machete. Was it Rob? The guy who was looking around, he was lurking around, he ran into Corey Feldman and Corey Feldman invited him right in the house. You know, remember that guy was looking around Camp Crystal Lake for Jason? Who was his sister? Wasn't his sister killed? Was it Jenny? Jenny, whatever. Somebody who he was related to got killed, and Rob came back in part 4, I think it was. And Corey Feldman ran in. He ran into. Remember that guy was backpacking.
Yeah, Jason killed his sister. Yeah.
Yeah, and remember that guy when he.
Sandra.
Sandra is who it was. Oh, the one I told you
Yeah.
I liked.
In part 2.
She had the best breasts. I told you, remember? When I was out, we were judging the breasts the one day of the chicks because there were all so many naked, and I told you I liked hers. I liked her, but she, yeah, he was when Jason was killing him. He was like, "I'm dying," or "He's killing me." He said something stupid, you know, literally. He's like, "I'm dying," and Jason's like, "Chop, chop, chop, chop." Jason just kept going at him. Remember he did that in the barn too, killing that one guy, and I think that was in part. I think it was in the same one, or maybe that was part. Was that part 3? I don't remember. It was the one with
You ready to wrap up?
Yep, we're getting ready to. Yeah, we're getting ready to do that. I can't remember which one that was. It was the one in the barn where I think it was the biker ones, where he was chopping the guy, but it was like all seen, and you could just hear him keep chopping him over and over. And you know the guy's dead, but he's just still chopping and chopping Jason. But what other ones can we see here? Valentine's Day. We did Christmas. No, Independence Day is not a horror film, right? Yeah, it's a good whatchamacallit day. Birthday. We've covered a lot. I mean, I don't know if there's any real main holiday ones that you can really think of that we haven't said. You don't have any, do you? We pretty much said everything here.
Yeah.
As far as main holiday. But yeah, let us know if there's any other ones because we'll check them out if we can find them. You know, holiday. It's neat to always find something we haven't checked out before. We have almost 100 years of horror movie knowledge combined. So, but yeah, we're gonna wrap up. And what do we like to say? Everyone has a story, and you can't judge a book by its cover. We're gonna try to get some celebrities. I'm trying to recruit to get them to the next convention in the area, and maybe we can get some interviews for the podcast in person. So, well, love is a choice, and so is the hate, everybody.
Yeah, good luck, everybody. Have a nice weekend.
Be the light.